It's really important that people understand about giving through a commitment. I think one of the strongest things we can do is be willing to, off the top, share our resources with others. Sometimes people feel it's more like a free will offering. I will contribute if I'm there.
I think we learn generosity at a very early age. I think we learn generosity from our parents. We learn how to, an ethic for giving back. To whom much is given, much is required.
I give back because I believe that's what Jesus told us to do. I learned generosity very fortunately from my mom and my dad. They were incredibly generous. My folks always put their church offering on the top of their list of things to give every month.
You can't be a part of a large family without being generous and learning to give and take a little bit.
Bethany is just very important to Kathy and me. It's important to our children. We want it to be important to our grandchildren. We grew up in the church. I've told many of my friends that the Jew that is within me is the Lutheranism that is within me. We grow up in a community of caring, a community of giving, and as a result, we want to give back. We give because we want to. We give because we feel we have a moral obligation to. We give because it's an expression of our appreciation and glory to God.
I learned by watching my paternal grandparents, who were lifelong Lutherans as I am, and I just follow their model of generosity.
And in my case, being married to Vicki has changed my whole life, because we were so busy with a military career and a corporate career. We really never, I really never took time to do that. And now, following her lead and changing my life, it's worked out good.
I mean, it's one of those things probably from our parents, you know, from the very beginning, but
and there's this sense of God's call. And
whatever you give, you will receive back tenfold, and we need to continue to remember that, especially as we're calling a new pastor and looking toward our future.
I started with volunteering at first. I think it was at the little 1 hour food bagging things after church, and then Be the Blessing came along and VBS, and I started volunteering more and more and more. And I recently went to the National Youth Gathering in Detroit, and we volunteered there, and that was the coolest thing. We rehabilitated, or helped rehabilitate, an abandoned house. We cleaned up their backyard. And
Global Task Force reaches out, and it's been very helpful to be a part of that, and to be participating with groups in Kenya, Africa. Bethany has a presence there, like it does in so many places in the world.
And our Ready, Set, School program is so important to me, because this is a neighbor of Bethany's in the Inglewood, Sheridan area, serving poor and disenfranchised families. If we have one student who stays in school and is encouraged by the backpack they receive, the school supplies they receive, the clothing they can wear on the first day when they go to school, that the increase in their self-esteem and their feeling that education, that they're one of the kids like everybody else, and that education is important, might break that cycle of poverty.
Well, Healthy Marriage is a nonprofit organization through the Center for Relations, and we do a lot with the military, but we're blessed to do them with companies and also churches, and it's non-faith based at this time, And so we try to help the people reconnect. If they're in a committed relationship or married, then we teach them speaker listener and different things like that. We've been blessed that we're doing something we never thought we'd be able to do, and it's all because of the church.
It's important to me to be a part of a program that is a quality early childhood center and not just a daycare. I think it's important for me to be a part of an organization that gives back. I didn't want my job to be just a job. One child that comes to mind in particular, I recently had a family that came to me who was in desperate need of childcare. She was going back and forth between different centers, and she's on the child care assistance program, and her kids have been through a lot of transition recently. Here he was going to be loved, and he was going to be shown love, and that would help him to learn how to show others love.
We have a book for the first 3 years of a child's life. We find out they're born, we start and we send them a page a month, and each year there's a CD that the kids can play at night. It's music specially designed for the children. Each set of pages that we send will help the parent deal in a Christian way and help them educate your children in Christian life and living. The parents who get these pages love them. They just love them. And Operation One Nation is amazing. Warren runs it, has started it. He has reached out. It made all of us reach out to other organizations in town. We do so many things for the veterans. Once a year we'll have a get-together and a meal for the veterans, and they come, and then there's a church service involved, and we honor them. Kind of are tied up with Project Sanctuary, which is a retreat in the mountains for veterans and their families. Bethany is amazing. It has the most willing, wonderful, loving people I've ever met.
Well, let's start with diapers.
Start with diapers.
Okay, we went to Denham for our first Be the Blessing, and for the last 4 or 5 times we've collected over 30,000 diapers. So it's pretty incredible. It gives me goosebumps.
I think for me, there was a time when we were young, starving school teachers, and we kept hearing the part in the church service that said, giving of ourselves, our time, and our possessions. We volunteered to do stuff with youth. I tried to do stuff with music. And then as our finances have improved, a lot of those things are hard to give up. So still doing things with music, still doing things with youth, and still organizing things like Denham, that we can make a difference.